How's it going, everyone? TF32 is here, back for round 4 of the 990cc 2005 to 2006 championship for the Qatar round at the Oulton Park circuit, because obviously we do not have the Lusail circuit here on Ride 5. Completely ignoring that leaderboard that you see right there, we are dying for a good result as a team. We finally got a decent result at Road Atlanta with some DNFs. This is the championship board as it stands right now. So right now it's basically a 6-guy fight for the lead of the championship. Danny Pedrosa and Nicky Hayden getting that Repsol Honda 1-2 in the previous round means they are not only leading the Riders' Championship but also the Team Championship. And despite us getting a half-decent result with, 8th and 10th, we only got 8 points and we're still 9th in the Team Championship. So we really need to get our act together and put together some half-decent points. Actually, more than half-decent. We need a big chunk. We need to get on the podium, for Christ's sake. So, same as usual, I'm stepping the gears up because Oulton Park, the AI are quite good, and I don't want to make it too much of a singe. I want the AI to be as challenging as possible, and we are going to the live session right now to simulate the qualifying, and we're going to see who comes on top first, who is the first person to set their lap. It is going to be Valentino Rossi who sets the benchmark, but who is going to remain on top? Was Kenny Roberts for a little bit, Alex Barros now on top, Makoto Tamada really putting together a really good lap after that podium. It was a Honda lockout at the last round in South Africa. And now Nicky Hayden doing more wonders for Honda as he is now top dog. How long will that last? And another thing I forgot to mention is I'm currently working on some new liveries. I want to do a full-fledged 2003 livery because the 2005 Camel Honda Pawns machine, they're really starting to lose sponsorship, and I want to try and bring back some of those sponsors like Correos. I want to make Mobile One a lot more of a prominent sponsor. So I'm basically going to bring the 2003 livery over to Barros. And I just noticed recently that Ukawa had a specific livery just for him, as Makoto Tamada is now top dog. And it's a Honda 1-6 with Tamada, Hayden, Gibbernow, Barros, Pedrosa, and Melandri. But those new liveries will be coming out in round 5, so I can't wait for you to see them. And a Honda we still haven't seen anything from as far as points is Casey Stoner. We haven't seen a damn thing from the Australian. Hopefully we can see that rather soon. Boris Caparossi stepping it up, getting that Aprilia-powered Ducati on the front row. And Nakano, he's in 11th. So not the worst, but not the best either. We really need some really good results from him. And another announcement I'd like to make is for the next season, we have signed an exclusive deal with Sunbelt Rentals. They are going to be sponsoring the Kawasaki racing team for next season. You're not going to see it this season, but you're going to have to wait another 16 rounds, including this one. No, another 17 rounds, including this one, to see it. But it should be quite a delight to see. And hopefully we'll have some well-needed experience and advice to help power up that Kawasaki and put together some really good results. Casey Stoner, just spoken about him. He must have heard me as he puts that Honda on the front row alongside Tamada and Hayden. And we are now timing out of the qualifying, and that's our front row right there. Hopefully we can put some really good results together, as I keep saying over and over and over. Qualifying results don't really mean much. We need to put it together in the race. So without further ado, we're going to head over to the starting grid.
Are you ready, Boots?
welcome to the TF32 commentary box. We are here live from the Lusail circuit in Doha, Qatar, and we are hosting this race from the first time ever at the Oulton Park circuit just outside of Liverpool in the UK. On pole position, we have Makoto Tamada with a 134.546 alongside Nicky Hayden and Casey Stoner. Row 2, Loris Capirossi, Sete Gibernau, and Alex Barros. Row 3 is the championship leader, Dani Pedrosa, alongside Marco Melandri and Colin Edwards. Row 4, Valentino Rossi, Kenny Roberts Jr., and 250cc runner-up, Shinya Nakano. Row 5, John Hopkins, Carlos Checa, and Troy Bayliss. Row 6, Christopher Mullen, Max Biaggi, and Toru Ukawa. And rounding out the back of the grid, Tony Elias and yours truly. So another rule taking effect this round and onward is that if a rider has a minor or moderate crash all by themselves, I will allow them to get back on the bike and get a classified result. So you'll see that this round and onward, it will affect the results. As we go to 5 red lights here at the Oulton Park circuit, those lights are out and we are off. Makoto Tamada really wants to make himself known and show that these LCR Honda upgrades have been so beneficial to the team thus far, because he's trying to break away from Nicky Hayden and Loris Capirossi. Having gotten a podium in the last round, he really wants to continue this good streak that they have going on here. As you look on the inside, John Hopkins to get into the points. Our teammate Nakano just getting by. P16, not good enough. Is just barely in the points in P15, but we are making progress ourselves. Looking underneath Troy Bayliss, and we fast forward just a little bit. We are now behind Kenny Roberts, trying to get into the top 10 here. And we have Colin Edwards right behind us, switching around. At this point, I'm not really sure who to follow. We are now on board with Alex Barros looking behind Dani Pedrosa. We see Tamada, look at that gap. This is only lap 1, mind you. And he is pulling that. He was not able to do that in the first 2 rounds. Take a look at myself going a little bit outside, touching a bit of dirt. But hey, we still got 11 more laps to go to show what we got in the tank and compete against these big dogs. Now, Loris Capirossi up into 3rd position. These first 3 rounds have not been good at all for Ducati Marlboro team. They sit stone dead last in the standings as it is right now. So they really want to turn that around. Are they able to do that? We'll have to see. Tamada already has over a full second ahead of Nicky Hayden, Capirossi, and oh my god, Casey Stoner crashes out. This is disastrous for the Australian. He has yet to score a single point this season, or even match up to the success that his teammate Tamada has, and he is out of this race here at Oulton Park. Cutting back to Tamada, the gap is well over a second and a half, and that Japanese flag is flying high. We are cutting all over the place. We're cutting back to me. Going just a little bit wide out of Shell Oil's quarter, and we are into the top 10 in 9th position, right behind this 5-time world champion in this alternate universe, Valentino Rossi. We pull a little bit of a wheelie. That's something that, for whatever reason, happens around this part of the track. You just pull wheelies, and you just don't have a ton of control over it, unfortunately. As Rossi goes a little bit wide, we find a gap, and we go right underneath without any issue at all, up into P8. Cutting back to the Brazilian, Alex Barros, having a pretty solid ride up inside, what is it, like the top 7. And Capirossi still in 3rd, coming out of the penultimate corner. He is going a little bit loose. What is going on? He crashes, and oh my god, we have an enormous crash. Loads of people going through. We have Hopkins, Ukawa, Gibernau. You can't see it here, but Nakano also involved. Kenny Roberts also involved. All 5 of those, at the very least, are out of the race. We see Valentino Rossi have a very slight moment on the front stretch there. But, oh my god, what has happened there? As now, we fast forward. Because of that, Barros has benefited greatly. He's up into what? I think he's up into 4th now, right behind Dani Pedrosa. And the 2 people that have benefited greatly from this are the 2 Hondas of Tamada and Hayden. What a gap they have pulled, all because of that crash. Capirossi, this is a disastrous outcome for Ducati. They have not scored I mean, they've scored a few points, but they are the worst performing team overall, as we benefit as well. Rossi and I up to P6 and 7 because of all of that. And we're up behind a ton of Hondas, Pedrosa, Barros, and Melandri. And this might become a big battle for the podium between all 5 of us. And when it comes to the Doctor, you do not play games, because he might have some games of his own up his sleeve. So this crash paying dividends for both Repsol Honda riders, coming off of a 1-2 from Road Atlanta, the South African Grand Prix. And they're sort of continuing this trend of good results. 2-3 for them right now. But they have Barros and Melandri right behind. They don't screw around either. And we also have myself, the lone Kawasaki, on this track, still circulating. But we're not just circulating, we're doing pretty well. Barros, massive moment on the front straight, with Melandri right behind him. And as you're about to see, this battle is actually going to be quite more entertaining than it looks. Melandri right behind, and they're all on equal machinery. Two very experienced riders. Pedrosa still not as experienced, only 1 season under his belt in 2006. And Tamada and Hayden, you basically need a telescope, but Melandri looking on the inside, soon to be outside of Barros, but Barros really covers that inside corner so that Melandri has no chance of overtaking. Meanwhile, we are just sitting in the background watching this battle play out, because it's tracks like this where you can enjoy battles. Not all of the tracks on this game are this entertaining to watch the AI, unfortunately. That's why we have chosen the tracks that we have chosen. And we could overtake them, and we do have a bit more pace than them, but why bother? This makes for great entertainment, and I would love to watch them battle a little bit as we cut to Troy Bayliss. Much like myself, he's the only rider of his make still circulating. On track, he is in 9th place, but that will change after the DNFs are calculated at the end of the race, of course. Coming back to Pedrosa, he has a very small gap of Melandri and Barros still battling. Pedrosa really getting unsettled. This is a part of the track where the AI tend to get a little bit unsettled as it stands right now. And look at Rossi. He's trying to get by us for P6. He does. But we just barely catch this live. There's someone that went down, and all of a sudden we're up in 6th behind Rossi. You see Barros and Melandri, but where's Pedrosa? I think he's out. Pedrosa has crashed out. I mean, he is still circulating. It was a bit of a crash on his own. It wasn't overly high speed, so he is still circulating right behind us in 7th. But Pedrosa is out of this battle for the podium. That promotes Barros up to 3rd, Melandri up to 4th. And what kind of battle are we going to see for these two, and possibly myself and Rossi for the rest of this race? And Tamada, he really needs this. The podium of the last round was probably the start of something magical after those upgrades, after the Chinese round, because this is really where the performance of the bike was at in 2005 and 2006. As we look on the inside very briefly, Melandri, but that Honda proving so strong in so many different areas. And we do cut forward briefly by nearly a full lap as Marco Melandri now knocking on the door. And is he actually succeeding at taking that podium position from Barros? No, side by side on this very tricky back straight, if you call it. Oh my god, Barros really getting unsettled, and that's going to affect his entry into the penultimate corner. And he will need to surrender 3rd position to Melandri ever so briefly, but he is closing in a little bit. And I just cut very briefly. Tamada is now in 2nd. He must have gone wide somewhere, because now Nicky Hayden leads the race. This is a little bit different. Tamada needed redemption. This is not what he needs. But 2nd place, still wouldn't complain a ton about that. Now Marco Melandri goes into turn 1 a little bit wide, and that's allowed Barros to close in just that little bit on him. And this corner right here proving to be tricky even for the AI. You see in the distance, Hayden has gained a little bit from Tamada, but not entirely. Tamada is still very much there behind him. So do not count Tamada out of this win. Just behind, I'm still in 5th, and I run it a little bit wide, still trying to learn how to attack that corner properly. But overall, we are gaining a little bit. We're breaking away slightly from Rossi, although it doesn't look like it here. We end up going a little bit of a corner cut into that chicane right there. It's tricky to get right, even for the best players. And we still focus on this battle between Melandri and Barros, although, am I going to make an overtake? I don't think it's going to happen, because I even run to the grass a little bit. Still managed to keep it out of the turf somewhat. But the point is, we do keep it clean, and we are still very much in contention for this podium. We could cut to some entertainment in the back, but this is where the real entertainment is. This is where all the big points are paid. For the podium, basically the top 6. That's where all the double-digit points are. On board with Alex Barros in the front straight, looking right behind Melandri. Is he going to give up without a fight? Absolutely not. This guy has over a decade worth of experience. And Melandri again goes deep into turn 1, and Barros bumps into the rear wheel going into this second turn, if you consider it that. And he is right in Melandri's slipstream. He's going to try and line up some sort of move, and he's going to study him throughout the entirety of the rest of this race going forward. And this entire first quarter of the track is basically where Rossi loses touch with us. He isn't as strong. I mean, to be fair, there are quite a few decent straights throughout this part. So the Hondas, and of course myself, because of the skill, we're able to break away. As I get a little unsettled again at the chicane, looking right behind Barros. Not willing to pass, because I want to see this play out. Do look on the outside, but I'm not going to make it stick. This is just way too fun to watch. So I back out of it, and also very bad spot to overtake. This overall is just a very hard track to overtake on. Cutting back to Barros, looking behind Melandri. How much longer is this battle going to play out? Is Melandri or Barros going to crash out similar to what Pedrosa did? Or is this going to go right until the bitter end? Barros looking right into Melandri, right in his slipstream, into the final turn. And he's right on the back of his gearbox. Barros, having been in Grand Prix competition since 1986, again getting unsettled in that front straight. Still not losing touch with the Italian, the young Italian. Cutting back to the Kentucky kid. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. Barros right on the gearbox again. And Barros really wants this. He hasn't scored a podium since the first round. He wants to do it. Getting side by side with him, going into turn 3 and going into Shell Oils. Just about to. This is a very popular place for doing a close overtake. Melandri just nipping the rear wheel. Melandri having the inside. He's going to have that overspeed. Barros nearly wrecking out because of that, getting very unsettled. He's been unsettled probably more than anyone else, been able to save it tremendously. All three of us have a moment going into the chicane. Damn, this is just amazing entertainment. And I'm very happy to have witnessed it for my own eyes. I'm the one with the popcorn. They're the ones with the swords. Who's the one that's going to end up drawing that first blood and end up taking it all? We have yet to find out. This is going right down to the wire, tooth and nail. And we nearly go onto the grass. And Rossi is barely even a factor now that I talk. He's probably at least 2 seconds behind us. So, not too great for the doctor. But this is forming to be an amazing battle here at this Qatar Grand Prix. In just out of the final corner again. Are we going to have any unsettled action? I am not so sure as we cut back to the Kentucky kid once more. And gap isn't really moving at all. Tamaz probably about a second behind, so he's still pretty close behind. However, a gap that certainly hails in comparison is this gap for the podium between Barros and Marco Melandri. And is Barros going to go for any kind of move on the inside? No, he doesn't. He's not quite close enough. Or he just decides, you know what, I'm going to stay back, study him a little bit more. Coming into the Shell Oils corner. And Melandri again gets unsettled. Barros sees that window of opportunity, looks on the outside to try and make something. Is he able to make it stick? No, he doesn't. But he's still there. That front wheel still right alongside Marco Melandri. They're both pulling a little bit of wheelies, but who is going to come out on top going into this next chicane here? It's Melandri, again, staying right behind. This is one of the best Ride 5 battles I've ever seen in my life. And as I'm riding behind them, like as I'm recording this, I am amazed at what the AI are able to do. It's a shame we didn't have championships like this in Ride 4. And this is ultimately the reason why I'm having this championship right here. Melandri getting so unsettled. Barros, does he have enough overspeed to get by? No. Decides to play it safe. Decides I'm not going to go for it. I have just a little bit more time. As we have, I think, 2 laps to go now. He's going on the inside, soon to be outside. Barros now gets back 3rd position. And cutting back to Tamada and Hayden once more. Hayden going really wide. I know it's so early in the season, but if this is not the battle of the season at this point, I don't know what the hell is. Melandri's still not giving this one up. This is, my god, this is an amazing battle. Does Melandri successfully stick on the inside? No. Does something similar to Barros. Backs out of it. And still in 5th, losing touch, but overall, we're still losing touch from Rossi. I tend to touch upon that every single time we go into that corner. And every single time we go into this corner, we tend to get a ton of action. And we have, well, we got mutual wheelies. Which one will appear to be the worst wheelie? Can't tell from here, but still in 3rd, I would assume it'd have to be Marco Melandri. And we close back in again. Melandri's so close to that rear wheel. He is not giving this up. He would never want to give this up. Got 2nd in 2005. And he wants to continue his streak of success. And Nicky Hayden, he has a crash of his own. And this will allow all 3 of us to gain tremendously on the 2006 World Champion. We are right behind him. Barros could even get 2nd. This is a battle not for 3rd, but for 2nd. This is a battle for 20 points. Huge stuff. If I could pick up 20 points, I could pick up the pieces that Nakano has dropped these last multiple rounds, excluding the last round, where we finished in 10th. And Hayden, again, like Melandri, has a moment. Barros is up into 2nd. This is incredible. Hayden looked to have had possibly a win in the bag. He ends up losing that with a crash. Tamada has been gifted the lead once more, having started on pole. Hayden down in 3rd. The only 2 people behind him are Melandri and myself. So this is a battle that is going to go down to the wire now. 4 of us, only 1 of us can be awarded that P2 because Tamada is just ages ahead of us. And I get into the grass, an overly aggressive move just to let Hayden and Melandri know, don't forget about me, I am still here. And that's how far ahead we are from the rest of the competition, some of which have retired, but unfortunately Ride 5 does not conduct DNFs. And look at this. We are trying to get P4 at the very least, and if we can't get a podium, let's at least get P4, because there's a 2-point gap between 4th and 5th. And the more points we can get for the Kawasaki Racing team, the better. Cutting back to Makoto Tamada, rounding out this final corner, and there is nobody around. Gets a little bit unsettled, but he has no other corners to try and tame. He ends up having this in the bag, so he gets the win. And we are looking behind. Just get that a little bit in the grass there. Melandri looks a little bit. We're going to try and break really late so we can ensure that we get 4th position here. Barros gets a little bit wide, so is Hayden going to fight back? No, not at all. So Barros gets 2nd position. Nicky Hayden picks up 3rd with the fastest lap, by the way. We pick up 4th, Melandri 5th, and Rossi in 6th. He was 5 seconds behind this battle for 2nd place. And just behind us, Danny Pedrosa finishes in 7th, Max Biaggi in 8th. But what on earth was that crash that we had on lap 3 with Caparossi? It's 6 guys that were involved in that crash. It was utterly ridiculous. I haven't seen anything like that in quite a while, and I certainly was not expecting it today. Vermeulen in 9th. Everyone else, there was no point in cutting into any of the action because everyone else was so far apart. Vermeulen in 9th, Tony Elias in 10th, Colin Edwards 11th, Troy Bales in 12th, and the DNFs There are loads of them. Ukawa, Stoner, Roberts, Caparossi. Unfortunately, Shinny Nakano we happen to have lost as well. And we also lost Carlos Checa, Sete Gibernau, and John Hopkins. They are all out of this race, and we didn't even have any rain to make those 8 DNFs happen. So, the championship, this has caused a pretty significant shakeup. Still a very close battle, but Alex Barros with that second place actually leads the championship ahead of Hayden. Again, fastest lap of the race. And Tamada with 2 podiums in a row, he jumps us. And even with a decent result of 4th, we sit 8th still, because several people ahead of us still did pretty well. And of course, since I'm the only person doing lifting, we don't really elevate that much. But we had 8 DNFs. So if we go over to the team standings, we are up into 7th now. And our closest rival now is Suzuki, and Yamaha not that far ahead of us either. Repsol Honda still leads, but Camel Honda Pawns 14 points behind. And Biaggi, nowhere really to be seen, but he finished 8th. And so he elevates Yamaha Dantin up to 3rd. But we have a little bit of a mountain to climb. I'd like to get at least 5th with Kawasaki. And up next, we are headed over to Snetterton for the Turkish Grand Prix. I am so sorry for this taking so long. I've had a lot of life interest that I've had. I've wanted to get some certifications, particularly for IT, so I'm going to be starting studying that. I have 3 other videos for GeoGuessr that still need to be released, so throughout this time that I'm studying and possibly getting the certificate, I'll be uploading those. But don't expect another round of this for probably at least a month. I know it says a double header, but it is what it is. I'll be uploading those 3 videos as soon as I can, and this you could probably expect for me to return maybe late September, early October. But until then, I will see you guys at the Turkish Grand Prix at Istanbul Park. Take care.